Now over to you, Carl. As an economist, do we need more money? Where does it come from? Is it time for more debt for the EU?
Well, Julius, we absolutely need more money. And to do so, we need further revenue sources. We are discussing it here together. We all know it. There are so many challenges we need to address. And I told you earlier that we need to increase investment. But the truth is, I'm not even sure whether we can sustain the current level. So there's one study, for example, by the New Economics Foundation that states the European fiscal rules, who basically say how much money the member states are allowed to borrow, that those rules only allow 3 member states enough borrowing to reach their climate goals. So it is clear that the European Union needs to step in to provide funds if its own rules prevent necessary investment from happening. And let me tell you something. During the pandemic, the European Union has borrowed up to 800 billion euros, the so-called Next Generation EU program, and this money has been worth its value, really. It helps stabilizing European economies and societies, and we are so much more wealthy due to Next Generation EU. It actually constitutes like around 40% of the whole European budget, but it will expire within the next years. And if we put Next Generation EU and the Cohesion Fund together, those programs, European money, they provide for a large amount of public investments in many member states. They are especially critical for climate finance, and they must be carried on. And therefore, we need a successor of Next Generation EU program. One idea that we at Fiscal Future pitched in Germany would be the implementation of a European Future Fund that could then provide investment in our security, in climate, in infrastructure, in competitiveness. This would be a great policy for a better future for us. And if we talk about what revenue sources would be suitable for such a fund, yes, one option is to debate about further common debt. Many Germans, I'm from Germany, are fundamentally afraid of debt. And I think there's one reason to it, that debt and guilt are the same word in Germany. It's both Schuld and Schulden. Really, it's such a coincidence and such an impactful one. And some of you remember in person, some of you have learned in school, during the Euro crisis, the German finance minister pushed for harsh austerity, bringing great sorrow to many of our European partners. And I think most of you know that austerity cannot be the answer. Austerity is socially unjust. It destabilizes our societies, and it also is economically counterproductive. It aggravates economic weaknesses, and I feel truly sorry and actually also a little bit ashamed for what has happened in the past decade. And let me be really clear here, as an economist, it is economically sensible to take up debt in order to invest in our future, because we young people, we benefit from these investments, and therefore a successor of Next Generation EU would be sensible and in our interest. And really quick. And to sum up, thank you. I'm really glad that you agree on this one. And to sum up, because I'll briefly say 3 sentences also about other revenue sources apart from that. The European Union will introduce an emission trading scheme, ETS2. That's a good source of income. We have the CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, but those aren't enough. There are 2 topics I want to bring to the table, and one of them are company profits. Because companies in all over Europe, they really profited from the single market, so it would be only fair if they contributed to it. And then let me bring up a second point. In economics, many scientists are really concerned with the unequal distribution of wealth on our planet, in Europe, in single countries. And there's a notion, a global tax on billionaires, and it might be, discussed rather controversially also within us. But I think a global tax on billionaires where Europe could make a step ahead would not only strengthen our budget, but also increase fairness. Thank you.